At some point, there were some cell phones seized from the residence. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Including a cell phone belonging to Ms. Vander Ark.
That is correct.
And did you have an opportunity, as part of the investigation, did the Norton Shores Police Department perform an extraction of that cell phone?
Yes.
And it seems obvious, but what is the purpose of extracting information from that cell phone?
Often cell phones can contain evidence of the crime that we're investigating.
Your Honor, for this next portion, we've discussed already that Lieutenant Hooksma and Detective Alm will be reading a portion of the text messages. So I think we're prepared to do that at this point in time. This will be, for the record, this is going to be previously stipulated to being admitted as People's Exhibit number 36, and this is an excerpt of those text messages. And you've had an opportunity to review those text messages, is that correct?
I have.
And these text messages come directly from the extraction of the cell phone that was performed on Shanda Vander Ark's cell phone, is that correct?
Correct.
And you've had an opportunity to review these, and did these depict different moments in time from February to July of 2022, a conversation, or conversations, I should say, between Shanda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson?
That is correct.
So we only need one more chair up there, actually, is what we're going to need.
Mr. Roberts, so Detective Hooksma is going to be playing the part of the defendant, I believe you said, or is it?
No, actually, Detective Alm will be reading the defendant's portion, and Lieutenant Hooksma will be reading Paul Ferguson's.
Paul Ferguson, okay.
Portion.
All right. All right, we just need a chair. I got an extra one, I think. So just so the jury understands, usually a witness can read both parts. It can get a little confusing, obviously, because it's the same voice. So the parties have stipulated essentially that Detective Hooksma will be reading the text messages of Paul Ferguson, and Detective Alm, who is coming up as of now, is reading the part of the defendant. I think we probably should swear her in, so Detective...
Ms. Gilmore just pointed that out, Judge. I think
Yeah.
that's probably a good idea for this portion.
All right, Detective Alm, in the matter now pending, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
My first name is Stephanie, Stephanie, last is Alm, ALM.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Roberts.
Your Honor, can we get the lights on?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Does that help? Does that get it right there? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, for the record, these are, you'll be reading verbatim the text messages between Shanda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson. And we've also taken some lengths to make sure that you're identifying the dates and approximate times where these text messages are being sent. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if we move to a different day, there's an indication there so the jury understands what days we're talking about, correct?
That's correct.
All right. I believe you could begin.
First, rude, and second, why are his hands free? And what did he get into that he felt he needed to brush his teeth to hide it?
Sorry, I don't know he was up.
What do you mean you didn't know he was up? Has he not been...
I don't think we've got a date
Oh, yeah.
of this particular section, so if we just,
Thank you.
before we get into it, the date.
The date is 2/18/2022.
Thank you.
First, rude, and second, why are his hands free? And what did he get into that he felt he needed to brush his teeth to hide it?
Sorry, I didn't know he was up.
What do you mean you didn't know he was up? Has he not been upstairs against the wall?
No.
What? Why the heck not?
I just didn't.
What the heck has he been doing?
According to him, he's just been setting. I don't know, though. I didn't know he was awake.
Find out what he has snuck right the heck now, because I know he has snuck stuff since you weren't doing what you were supposed to. What do you mean you didn't know he was awake? You both should have been awake at 10:30. I am not happy. You know he wasn't just sitting there. Check the brownies in the kitchen. Check everything not locked away. Check where the flipping keys have been.
I already checked everything. And that
There's a break moving on to a different date, correct?
correct, that concludes that section. The next date is February the 28th.
And check his breath. I can almost guarantee he's eaten something. He was chewing on something when he walked downstairs. You and I will be talking about this on a later date when we're both home.
Yes, he grabbed chips, I know.
Is there a break there?
Yes, the next text thread starts on March the 4th at 8:59 p.m. KK.
May I approach?
About 5, maybe 10 minutes. So I'll have you retired to the jury room. Please rise. All right, may be seated. Just for purposes of the record, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Johnson had a sidebar with the court indicating, Mr. Johnson indicated that his client was suffering some distress, specifically a panic attack, and he asked for 5 minutes. I think that's reasonable. So at this point in time, court is going to take a brief recess. Mr. Johnson, just please let the bailiff know when your client is well enough to proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we're in recess.
All right, well, defense counsel said in opening statements that this case is weird, and here we go. The defendant in this case, who is accused of torturing her son, he ended up dying, is now suffering from distress, a panic attack, according to the judge. And so they're going to take 5 minutes to see if the defendant can compose herself. This happened as the male lieutenant is reading text messages, as well as the female detective. So this is always a little confusing when it happens in court, when you have the people kind of role playing and reading the text messages that were sent. So what was happening here, you had the two law enforcement officers reading text messages that were taking place between the defendant there and her son, Paul. And we're hearing that she's saying, well, he wasn't upstairs against the wall. There have been allegations in this case that they would force him to stand for hours on end. Also about the brownies. Now, if we're going to go along with the defense theory here that he was on a hunger strike, the victim in this case, I don't know why she's asking about the brownies, seeing if he snuck the brownies. Well, we'd be happy that if he's eating something. I don't know. I realize we're just getting into this case, but child abuse cases are just so tough to talk about. We do want to bring in Krista Ramey to discuss this with us. Krista, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think this case is just going to be hard for us all to listen to, quite honestly. You made a really good point about the hunger strike and the food, and it's something that's really incongruent, and I don't know how they're going to reconcile this with the evidence, because they have a refrigerator that they have locked up, and then they're saying that he went on a hunger strike. And clearly the way these text messages are playing out, they're concerned about him eating when he's not supposed to be eating. If my child ever went on a hunger strike, my children never did, I would welcome them to eat anything. If it's brownies, if it's M&Ms, if it's cereal, if it's, whatever. So you're not really displaying, the reaction of what a mother would have if her children were on a hunger strike in the text messages that were happening in real time. So you've got the story that now is going on during litigation that, hey, he was on a hunger strike, but the evidence kind of belies that.
Yeah, and Christina, and I totally understand it from a parent's point of view. Sometimes you do have to limit sugar, limit brownies, limit candy, and sometimes that can be bad for certain children. But again, if he was on a hunger strike and eating brownies, then you would think that that would be something that would be good.